This is Amber Elrod, and I'm here with my principal, Ms. Haiti Appel, and we're going to be talking about the campus vision. Now, a lot of the questions that I had with my other members or people, guests, they were about were they aware of it? So we're going to focus more on the why of development and what it means for us and the community and things of that nature. So let's start with first, whenever, I know that did you change the vision statement when you moved here to Lincoln?
Right, we've actually had two changes in the vision statement.
Okay.
One was when I got here 4 years ago. It was important as a group to review it and make sure it met all of our needs. And then once we became an IB school, we went back again. So I'm going to say 2 years ago, went in and reviewed it again to make sure that it, along with our mission statement, included our values as an IB school as well.
And then just looking at the vision statement, and I know I've repeated this again, but I want to say it again, provide all students with the academic, career, personal, and social development needed to acquire the attitudes, knowledge, and skills for success in college and or career. That also aligns with our No Excuses University, correct?
Right.
And SEL.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. And so the first part with the college, I mean, while everybody kind of talks about it, it was important when I got here, and we made the move also to become a No Excuses University. So, yeah.
So to incorporate all the programs, all of the beliefs, and then whenever y'all develop all of these, who all do you try to include in the development?
A wide swath of people, of course, parents, community members, teachers, hourly people who work here, a nice cross-section of folks.
So like parents, students.
Yes.
And then
I would say students was only a recent addition to us last year.
Oh, okay.
When we had a student sitting on the CIT. So to be very honest, to say no, the kids have not really had much to do with developing this. And as you and I are having this conversation right now, I'm thinking it might be, again, it's 2 years, might be time to look at it again and perhaps bring in some of our kids.
Okay. Well, will we change it when we become Don Haskins K through 8?
Probably.
Right.
I don't know if our first year, when we're just still 6th, 7th, and 8th,
mm-hmm.
but definitely when our younger folks come in, it would definitely, again, be a time to look at it to say, is what we're talking about really encompassing pre-K
mm-hmm.
through 8th grade as opposed to just the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders right now.
That's going to be an interesting statement.
Yes.
Okay. And then Ms. Rolfe, during our talk on this, brought up a really good idea of bringing in a retired teacher or... I was like, hey, I didn't think about that. That's a good idea. Whenever, I just went brain dead a little bit. Sorry, it's the end of the school day, so we're all a little dead right now. Who do you feel like is responsible for making the vision statement come alive?
Well, it rests on everybody's shoulders. But I would say, the buck sort of starts and stops at the top.
Sure.
So it kind of rests with the principal or the administrative team to make sure everybody's aware of it and is working to bring it alive. But it's everybody's responsibility to make sure it's happening.
Sure. Do you feel like you have enough resources getting the vision statement out there? Do you feel like it's prominent enough, or there's something else you'd want to do?
You could probably always do more. Again, just sitting here right now and talking with you, it's really making me like, oh, we haven't. It's on our weekly calendar every
Sure.
week. Excuse me. We have it out front with our IB statement as well. It's on our website, but do we really do enough with it so that people can understand it and know how it integrates into their teaching? I mean, again, we have great teachers here,
mm-hmm.
and I know they're doing the things that are written in here, but there's something to be said for an awareness of knowing that I'm doing what's written in there.
Absolutely. Like bringing it back to this. I completely agree. And yeah. So in your opinion, how do you think the campus uses innovative thinking as a learning experience that does reflect back on the campus vision?
Well, I think that this week, while it's only encompassed 10 people, I believe it will get bigger with the Apple Co-Teach Academy that we've had, where the folks have been here. I mean, I've been into a bunch of classrooms to see what the teachers are doing and how just some simple little changes of innovation of how they're using the technology that all of our students are walking around with is making the children more excited and into what they're doing and understanding what they're doing. So again, reflects back on getting these kids ready, the skills they need to be successful in the future.
Now, I know there are people out there who the laptops are not as great of a thing as some people do. And honestly, it depends on the day. It depends on the student, as we all know. Do you think that maybe there might be personal or social skills that aren't being developed because of technology?
Oh, for sure. I mean, you know, one of the best things I think that happened in the last couple of years was when we took the laptops out of the student union. In that spot, the children were not allowed to have their laptops, and they actually started talking to each other, and they were playing card games. And we have a few now who during lunchtime are actually playing card games, and I kind of have to say to the APs every once in a while, how do we feel about it? Are we okay with it? You know, there's no gambling. It's not like they're playing, you know, that kind of stuff. But so again, pulling them out of the laptops, the technology out of the union and out of the cafeteria, I think has allowed the children to remember how to communicate with one another versus the texting or the Snapchatting. So while technology has a lot of great parts to it, we also know there's some limitations.
Absolutely. Considering our school and the diversity of our school, do you feel like the vision statement addresses the challenges that our campus face?
I'm going to say yes, because we talk about all students and the skills to be successful in college and or a career. I mean, everybody's not going to college, but it's our responsibility to prepare them for that kind of a life. So I think that we're doing, you know, as best as we can to provide to everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else what are some things that have come to your mind just in our conversation about, I want to do this with the vision, I want to do this? You already mentioned the tying it back in the classroom, actually. Is there anything else that you want to
Well, again, to make it more visible and to really, you know, we've brought new people on staff in the last year. And so to make sure that they're aware of it. Again, yes, it's in the weekly calendar every week, but it's in the weekly calendar every week. And do you really take the time to stop and look at it to make it yours, to help understand where you fit into the picture or how this fits into you and your commitment to teaching. So probably, like you said, a little more looking at it and dissecting it, making it work for us, and looking to see if we need to change something.
Sure. Awesome. So when we start developing our next vision statement, whenever that time comes, because it will come, how will you go about recruiting people? Is just, hey, do you want to be on this committee, or do you handpick them? Or
the first step is, hey, do you want to be on this committee?
Sure.
That's what we're looking for. Then if I don't feel like I have a balance, like I have all females who come forward and say something, I might approach some of our male staff or, you know, people out in the community to help be a part of it. Again, I like the thought of making sure that we have a couple of kids who are invested in and helping us developing it. You know, you'll always have a couple of those super involved parents, but maybe reaching out to some of the parents who may not always have the time or opportunity to be involved, or think that they don't really have anything to give. But reach out to them and say, no, we need your perspective and your idea. So again, the real trick is the well balanced group. Right.
Sure. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. This is Amber Elrod, and I am here with Miss Rolfe. She's one of our languages teachers here at Lincoln Middle School, and I'm just going to start asking questions about the vision statement. So, are you aware of our campus vision statement?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Does our campus have a written vision statement?
Yes, our campus has one.
Okay. When were you first introduced to the campus vision?
With Mrs. Appel.
Mrs. Appel?
Because previous administrations, we had a mission statement, but it wasn't clear what it was. It was not everywhere.
Okay.
So it is with Mrs. Appel, our current principal.
Awesome. Were you or have you been involved in the development or revision of your campus vision?
No, I have not.
If given an opportunity to serve, would you be willing to assist in reviewing our campus vision statement?
Yes, absolutely. I would love to.
Awesome. Who do you think should be involved in reviewing or developing a written campus vision statement?
I think principals, parents, teachers, and even students.
Okay. I agree with all of that too. I also, what do you think any like community members that don't have children at the school? Do you think those kind of people that should have a
I think they should have an input because everything we do here is, we spend their money, taxpayers' money.
Right.
So I think they should be aware of what we do
Sure.
and be involved. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And retired teachers also because they see what's happening in the classroom, and sometimes teachers, we don't have time to advocate or go and express our voice.
I really like that. I like the idea of retired teachers. That's the first answer I've gotten on that one. Do you think that the development of a campus vision is a shared responsibility to
Yes.
influence it? And who do you think, whose responsibility is it to make sure the development of the campus vision takes place?
Everybody involved, and I believe that it needs to start with the parents,
Mhm.
making sure that it happens.
Mhm.
The parents need to talk about it at home,
Absolutely.
and if we get that help from home, then our mission statement and our vision statement can be accomplished.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, our vision statement right here is provide all students with the academic, career, personal, and social development needed to acquire the attitudes, knowledge, and skills for success in college and or career. What could you put that, summarize it, and maybe give me, what do you think that means?
Empower them to become successful. That's what it means for me, but I feel like it's lacking something. It's lacking a component, which is we need to make the students responsible, teach them to be responsible for what they do, and especially for what they do not do.
Mm-hmm.
Because we, unfortunately, these days we see a lot of lack of sense of responsibility. The students feel like if they don't have something, it's because we didn't give it to them.
Mhm.
It was not provided to them. So we need to go back to making ourselves responsible first as teachers, and then teach that at home. The parents have to teach that at home too.
I completely agree, and that could be that is a skill for success. But I agree that we need to be more specific with what skills are we saying are going to make you successful.
Yes.
Yes, I completely agree with that.
Mhm.
Do you know where a student, faculty member, or parent could get a copy of our written campus vision statement?
We have it. Yes, I do, because every time Mrs. Appel sends a letter, an email, or weekly letter, she has the mission statement and the vision statement there.
Absolutely.
So we are very aware of it,
Yes.
which is good.
Yeah, absolutely. How does the campus use innovative thinking as a learning experience to promote the campus vision? I know that's a compound question. For
Okay,
sure.
ask the question one more time.
Okay. How does the campus use innovative thinking as a learning experience to help promote the vision? Like, how does the innovative thinking evolve to a learning experience that
No,
supports the campus?
I understand
Okay,
your question, but like we are a campus of innovation,
Sure.
and I don't believe that necessarily means that we're going on the direction towards achieving the vision.
Mhm.
And part of this is going back to the responsibility, and part of this is that we have these laptops that the students use. We're trying to get away from textbooks, from printed text. And unfortunately, even us as adults, we have phone in front of us and we are very distracted. And so why do we expect that the students don't get distracted with the laptop that they have in front of them?
I agree.
So and I have a master's in technology. I'm not against technology, but I just don't see how this is helping our middle school students at least.
Right.
So I don't know how to answer that question.
I'm not answering for you. I agree that yes, we try to be innovative with our technology and with all the things you can do online, which is great, but we have to teach them a responsibility with that innovation.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I completely agree. And it does fall off on us and the parents. And unfortunately, we know that it's more on us than the parents, which is an unfortunate situation, but it happens.
I believe that is more, I disagree with you on that one.
Uh-huh.
I believe that it should fall more on the parents.
It should, but it doesn't.
I mean, I know that we see them more hours than they do, but they're still their children.
I agree.
And we have so many kids that I mean, I understand it's a shared responsibility. I'm not trying to put all the burden on them, but they need to come with a set of skills so that we can teach the academics.
Yes. Completely agree. In a perfect world, right?
Yes.
Okay, so moving on to implementation. Specifically considering our school and community, do you feel that the vision statement sufficiently addresses the challenges that our campus faces?
It is a very utopic mission statement and vision statement.
And do you think that's the point of a vision statement? Like, I wonder if is that what you want it to be?
I think the vision statement, yes, I mean, it's right. That's what we really want. But also, when I think about the number of students that we see in the classroom and the lack of resources and the discrepancy on the way we have our resources, it's very hard to compile all our skills and resources. I'm going to give you an example.
Okay.
We have all this technology, but this technology is so incongruent with each other. Like, for example, I have this smart board and we're not going to pay for the license anymore. So all this money thrown away because the smart board doesn't respond to our new computers. So now we have all this money that taxpayers invested so that we can be a district of innovation with the technology and with all these things, all these bells and whistles, and now we are not going to be able to use them.
That's ridiculous.
Exactly. So here we are. So it needs to be, taxpayers need to be involved more so that they can say, no, we're not going to vote for this. We need to do this. I don't know if I'm answering your question.
You absolutely are, and I love listening to all your ideas and everything. That's why I was like, oh, Miss Rolfe would be great for this.
Thank you.
But, so do you think, I know that this is our vision, meaning this is what we want our kids to turn into, but do you think that it's too far away of a vision for our current kids?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not.
Okay.
No, if we can do it, they need to do their part.
Sure.
And I also know that we are teaching the most difficult group age group.
Yes, age group.
Age group. And they are distracted with other things. Maybe high school, this vision statement is going to be more applicable to them,
Sure.
to our same students once they mature and they understand this.
Right, and I think because reading this over and, you know, all the questions and everything, this vision statement is NEU right? Because of the college and career,
Uh-huh.
the NEU, and then the whole SEL, the social development and personal. And so I wonder how much our programs played a role. You know what I mean?
Like, for example, with the social development, the that we're doing during the warrior workshop,
Mhm.
we may not see the impact because unfortunately the students are embarrassed to say something nice to a student in front of everybody.
Sure.
It is easier to say something mean or a little bit like sarcastic
Mhm.
because they think it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen changes. The other day, one student said in class, "Everybody hates me." And then one girl turned and she said, "Nobody hates you. Don't say that." And I thought, oh my God, this girl learned this from the
SEL.
from our warrior workshop. And so then, since she was brave enough to say that, she was a good leader. So then everybody started following her and
Mhm.
saying, "Yeah, don't say that, don't say that." And I'm like, wow, great,
That's
so
awesome.
it may not be too far. I mean, we just need to continue in instilling our vision statement.
Sure, absolutely.
Uh-huh.
That's a really cool story. Do you feel that our written vision statement is inclusive and characterized by respect for students, families, and community partnerships?
Yes.
Yes, I agree. How can you assist our campus with the stewardship of our vision and getting into the minds and hearts of our entire school community?
Being a role model.
Mhm.
That's one of them. We want them to be good citizens,
Mhm.
professionals, responsible.
Right.
That's what I can do. Like, even I told my students, I use my personal Apple ID because I need to be very conscientious about what I do online because I want transparency.
Mm-hmm.
And because, my Apple ID flows to my laptop here at school. So being a good role model, I think that's how I can.
Absolutely. Are there resources available that could assist with the stewardship of our vision and getting into the minds and hearts of our school community? Yeah. I mean, we do Facebook. We do, Miss Appel does. She does. She's around.
Well, yeah.
I don't know resources available that could assist with getting our vision out there.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Mm-mm.
I think we're pretty well covered with that again. I agree.
Mhm.
Awesome. Well, those are all my questions. So thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
And we are done. That is it.
Thank you so much.
Are you aware of this vision video? And with me, I have Mr. Staines, and he is our design teacher here at Lincoln Middle School.
Hello.
So I'm just going to ask a few questions and take some notes about our campus vision statement. Are you aware of our campus vision statement?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay. Does our campus have a written vision statement?
It does. It does. Actually, I worked on it when we were working to become an NEU campus. So we had to get a assortment of teachers together to create a new vision statement for our campus, and I worked on it when we did that.
And NEU is No Excuses University.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When were you first introduced to the campus vision?
To be honest, it was when I was asked to come and work on it.
Okay.
Before that, I never really talked to anyone about it, although as a teacher, we all know all our goals as teachers is to ensure that our students are learning and being provided the opportunity to grow and become successful in both our campus and to be prepared for what comes later. So I had I always had that in mind, but once I had to sit down and actually find out what our campus vision was and then to develop a new one, it gave me a better understanding of what the idea was.
So the next question, although you've kind of answered it, is were you involved in the development or revision of your campus? So you said that y'all started working a new one because of the NEU?
Yes, our original one didn't meet all the criteria that NEU had, so we had to modify it to meet their requirements, and while still maintaining what the district wanted us to have.
So NEU had certain requirements and the district had it, and you had to bounce between those.
Yes, ma'am.
To develop it. Okay. If given an opportunity to serve, would you be willing to assist in reviewing our campus vision statement? Were we to change or not be NEU, or a reason why we had to change it?
Yes, I'd be completely willing to do it. Although I think our current one, with the way it is for NEU, is fine, even if we weren't an NEU school. Because the requirements that it placed on us, which was preparing the students for college and also for career later, honestly, that's what we're doing as teachers. Mm-hmm. So as far as I'm concerned, I think it's great. It's always good to be growing, and every document's a living document when you're talking about education. But I think the way it's written right now, it's wonderful.
Okay. Who do you feel should be involved in reviewing or developing a written campus vision statement?
Well, I think it's important to have people from every content. One of the mistakes, let's say maybe not a mistake, but one of the common themes that we see is they always pull in the core teachers. Mm-hmm. Which, when I was brought in to work on for NEU, I was the algebra teacher for the campus and the GT 8th and 7th grade math teacher. So they brought me in because I was core. And that's pretty much all the teachers that were in there were core teachers. Mm-hmm. Now I'm no longer a specific core teacher as design, which is technology. However, I think it's really important to get everybody's input, mm-hmm. because whether you're PE, your band, your math, science, everyone has a different viewpoint when it comes to the students, other than, yes, they need to learn. But I think you need to have everybody in there, because then you get a better idea of what's really necessary to develop a well-rounded student. And that's really the purpose of the vision statement, is to ensure the students are learning and getting the most they can out of their education. So I think we need to ensure that we have someone from every single content area and every aspect of the school, even down to the cafeteria staff, because everybody matters, because we're all working towards the same goal.
Yeah. Would it be like, say we did get just a representative from your extracurricular or co-curricular activities that was in there and getting in the nitty-gritty, and then send out like a survey or something how would you, I'm just trying to think how you would actually incorporate getting all those people.
Well, I would think one from each content area, mm-hmm. or each subject area. Because if you have at least one person, then every PE teacher has an understanding of what it's like to be a PE teacher, what the students need.
Sure. All
math teachers, music, as long as you have someone from every section, mm-hmm. then I think we'll be able to develop one that's very well-rounded. The one we have, I think, is great. Mm-hmm. Although, to be honest with you, again, we had a math representative, me, a science representative, social studies, and then we had a lot of administration. Mm-hmm. But we didn't have anyone from extracurricular or non-core classes. So I think it would be better if we did, though. Because that's one thing, now that I'm no longer considered a core class, I really understand that people don't really take into consideration what it's like to be in those classes and what you're doing. So I think it's important to include them.
Would you think it'd be appropriate to include parents or students?
No, we did have parents.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we had parents. We had a parent for each grade level, and that is also extremely important.
Okay.
Students, I think that would be wonderful, although in this case we did not.
Okay. Yeah. Do you think the development of a campus vision is a shared responsibility?
I definitely do. Literally, we're all working towards the same goal. Mm-hmm. We want our students to be well-rounded. We want them to be prepared for the future. We want them to feel that they belong in the campus, and that when they walk out at the end of the week or at the end of the year, that they know they've been touched and improved and are ready for the future. And I think that's the purpose of our statement, and that's what we need to do. So it's extremely important that we do that.
Okay, so our vision statement for No Excuses Lincoln is to provide all students with the academic career personal, and social development needed to acquire the attitudes, knowledge, and skills for success in college or career. Of course, we have our EPISD vision,
Yes.
and then our Lincoln Middle School vision is the exact same thing as NU. Never mind, sorry.
Yes, it's the same one.
So, based on that, reading that vision statement, what can you sum it up into? I don't know, a fifth grader is getting ready to come to Lincoln, and like, I don't, what does that mean?
Okay. Well, the basic idea is we want you to come to us, and we're going to develop you not only academically, but your social, emotional needs. And that's a huge thing. So we want them to know when they come here, we're not only working on the mental side, the math, the science, but we're also working on the emotional. We want you, when you come in, when you leave, you're going to be able to deal better with your, other students, with parents, with teachers, and you're going to have the emotional capability to be successful, because academics isn't everything. I mean, it's extremely important, no doubt, but academics isn't everything. So when we wrote our mission statement, our vision statement, we wanted it to ensure that we met all the needs of the student, not just grades, because, grades are only one aspect of the student.
So I know we do a lot with SEL. That is our social.
But
and emotional
this was actually
development.
written before we became an SEL school.
Got it.
Yeah, and we were already talking about how important it was. We didn't realize we were going to become an SEL campus later and start doing all the things we do now. But we already knew it was important then. Because, students, and, I was GT back then, and GT students, there's always so much stress that they're under because they have to achieve. If they get less than a 90, they feel like they failed. And that's not the case. So we knew we had to address their emotional needs then, and that's why when we wrote it, we ensured to include it.
Sure. Do you know where you, as student, faculty member, or parent, can get a copy of the written campus vision statement?
Actually, yes. Every email that's sent out by our principal, she includes a copy of it on every email that goes to the parents and the students. She sends out a weekly newsletter to all the parents, and she ensures that it's there. We also have a copy of it on our school website, so that anytime someone logs into our website, they're able to find our vision statement there. We also give every student a planner at the beginning of the year. So, and inside the planner, we have our vision statement. So they see it constantly, because we really want to make sure that over time they know it.
How does the campus use innovative thinking as a learning experience to promote the campus vision?
Okay, well, speaking from mine, when I was math, the way I did a lot of open-ended concept work with the students. I pushed conceptual learning over algorithmic teaching. That way the students, when we were doing something, they actually understood the concept. So, you can sit back and go, here's an algorithm, y equals mx plus b, and have the students learn how to plug in, a number to get a response, to get an answer. But that's not learning, okay? So what we did is, or what I did in the classroom, is I ensured that when I did any kind of activity or project with my students, I wanted to ensure that they actually understood what we were doing. So we would take that project and break it down to the simplest aspect and then build up. So by the time we were done, they understood it. They were ready for, whether it was algebra, to go on to geometry. And because they understood every aspect, they understood what is slope, what is unit growth and everything else. And it's extremely important to do it that way. And now in my technology class, it's the same thing. I ensure that my students, they understand what we're learning, they understand why it's necessary, and they understand how they're going to utilize it later to really be successful with all their other applications that they'll need it. For instance, right now we're doing simple creation of movies. So that's editing, and it's not just, okay, so we're going to create a little movie to teach a math concept, right? It's, well, why would you need it? And where would you use it after? So we broke down, and they looked at Endgame, the Avengers movie. So they actually looked at how people are going through and then editing movies there. Obviously, it's on a much larger scale, which that blew their mind, that, the thousands upon thousands of hours of film that those people had to go through, because they were shocked at just having to go through a 1-minute clip to pick out their little mistakes and edit them out. So when they saw that, they understood. And then, we also went over the how much that career pays and everything else. So they're seeing the connections, they see what they're learning, and it really helps to motivate them. Because the big thing is, it's college and career. That's our end goal, your college and career. So you have to make sure that when they're learning something, they see the connections.
Right.
They understand more than just the surface level. It has to be deep learning. If you teach a mile wide but an inch deep, you're not really teaching. You've got to teach deeply. And I think that's the main goal.
Absolutely. Specifically considering our school and community, do you feel the vision statement sufficiently addresses the challenges that our campus faces?
Oh, yes. And our campus is extremely diverse. We're Title I with 68% free lunch. And, we have, it's, like I said, very diverse. We also have students who are exceptionally wealthy. Just depends on which neighborhood you come from. And we wrote this with the idea, that's why social emotional development is so important, because that's part of it. When I first came to the campus, you would see a division. You had students from our wealthier area, the Willows and what have you, and they, which were my GT students, to be honest with you, they would be in one little area, and they were always together, and they did not socialize with others. And when we started working on this, we were like, we have to do more. And that's when we built the common area, which initially didn't exist. But once we did this, we removed lockers, we created the common area to kind of encourage students to start socializing more with, people who were not in their normal social group. And I'm sure you've noticed now, you can't tell a student from the Willows versus a student from Sandoval, the projects. Our students are one community. They are Lincoln. And honestly, I think a lot of it comes from the way we wrote the mission statement, or vision statement, sorry. And that was the big thing. We know we needed to ensure that social development was a big part of our campus. And academics is something we always work on, because that's what teachers know.
Yeah.
But we really started pushing, because our attitudes and our knowledge and our skills, everything builds us towards our college, our career, our success. So we really push it with our students.
Absolutely. Do you feel that our written vision statement is inclusive and characterized by respect for students, their families, and community partnerships?
Definitely.
Yes.
Yes, I do. And I don't think it's because I was part of the team that wrote it. I really don't. But literally, we brought them in. We had parents there, and we tried to get parents from multiple socioeconomic backgrounds so that they could contribute what they felt.
Did you get any business, like local business?
We had
leaders?
one.
Yeah.
He didn't get to stay very long, though. He didn't get to stay very long. But the thing is, we keep working. Personal growth, social growth, academic growth, all of that is part of our vision statement. And we're doing our best with our students. And I feel that they can see the difference. And I feel that because as teachers and administrators and everyone's working so hard to ensure that they get the growth potential and the growth opportunities, I know they can feel it. They can sense what we're doing. And I really think it encourages them and makes them feel empowered. So I think our vision statements definitely addresses that.
Awesome. How can you assist our campus with the stewardship of our vision? Getting to the minds and hearts of our entire school community? I know what you do now, and you do a lot. Is there anything else like you would like to do, or?
Well, I would love to do a lot of stuff.
Sure.
Time is always a factor.
Well, give us some examples of some things you do now.
Okay, well, I'm also the soccer coach. I used to be a football coach. My soccer team has to work on, it doesn't have to, but I highly encourage them to work on the Braden Abood. It's a charity run for a student that used to go to Lincoln and was involved in a tragic accident where he unfortunately lost his life. And the parents, they started this charity. So my soccer players every year have to fundraise for it. And, they go out and then they run the marathon. And, we generate money for that. And they do wonderful things in the community. And actually outside the community. It's a really wonderful organization. I'm always trying to be if the students come and talk to me, hey, I have this going on this weekend, and when they come to you, it is so important to go. So I try to. One of the best things we can do is ensure that our students know that we care enough to be there on the weekend when they need us. I do things like that. I also, anytime our campus is doing something in the neighborhood, I try to be involved. I can't always, but I do try to be involved as much as possible outside of the school as well as inside.
One of my favorite things that Mr. Staines does is his class always makes a cookbook.
Oh, yeah.
And so it gets the entire family involved, and it's really cool. It's one of my favorite things.
And since she brought that up, I'm going to go ahead and piggyback off that. So it is great, but not only does it get the family involved, and they interview their grandmas, their grandpas, because food is a huge part of culture. But I give the students the ability to research cultures that aren't theirs. And that's a blast. I had one young girl, and she's first generation American. Her parents were from Mexico, so she did tortillas. Yeah, and she's like, tortillas because it's Mexico and that's me. And I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, research tortillas. Well, then it turns out that tortillas are Middle Eastern initially. She didn't know that. I didn't know that, I have to be honest. And she's like, I can't believe it. And I'm like, well, there you go. So it really opened up her eyes, and she started to see the world so interconnected. And it was just wonderful to see that again, it's growth, because it shows you what you think is, your whole world. There's so much more to it than, one little aspect. And the more you learn, then the more you know, and it just makes you a better person and sets you up for success later. And again, I think that goes back to the vision statement, which, not to pat my own back, I totally helped write. Just putting that out there.
Last question. Are there resources available that could assist with the stewardship of our vision, like getting vision into the minds and hearts of our school community, not just our campus community?
I would think so. One of the great things, like I said, Miss Appel,
Our principal.
Yes, our principal. Our vision statement is on everything she sends out. So every teacher is going to know it. Every teacher is going to know how to find it. Every student's going to know it. I mean, they see it every time they look at their planner, and they have to check their planner every day. So we really make sure that the students learn it, and I think that's extremely important. Our resources to ensure that it's disseminated more, I think... maybe we could go ahead and, where they're currently rebuilding our school. It is an older campus in the district, so they're building a new section and then going to tear down the old and build new. It's possible to maybe put our mission statement on the outside of the building, which that we don't have, and that would definitely, that way every time you're walking up, there it is. And literally that would just be some paint. So that would be easy. Maybe in some of our partnerships that we have with local businesses, and we try. I know Band does Whataburger and things like that.
We do Spirit Nights.
Yeah, Spirit Nights. If we could incorporate it and things like that, so on every handout or every pamphlet we give out, put it there. And since everything we do, like my soccer banquets that I do, put it there so that every person who comes to celebrate the kids sees our vision statement. That would probably help a lot also.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.